This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Through the night, deep in the heart of Texas, the trailer park is nice and dark. Deep in the heart of Texas, Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bois, King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
And Rusty, we have a very special guest in the house.
Yes, we do.
I'm assuming a Celtics fan.
Yeah, and I've always been referred to as special, so this is good.
That's good. That's great. That's great. Yeah, your mom loves it.
Yeah.
So, Cam, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so Cam Stewart, by the way, co-host of the Drake Toll Show, ESPN Central Texas, weekdays 12 to 2. That's how we got connected. I also host the Locked On Baylor podcast, so a bit of a sporto.
Yeah.
Sports talk radio. Yeah. That's a fancy term for meathead.
Sure.
So doing a lot of sports talk, but love King of the Hill. I'm a Baylor alum. I've worked in news here in Waco, now working on the sports side of things.
Yeah.
So been here a bit, transplanted Bostonian, though. That's why
okay.
Celtics
So
fan.
that's
So
more-
born and raised in Boston. And honestly,
I've
King of
seen
the
you
Hill.
in the Bruins thing and
Love
stuff like
the
that.
Bruins,
Yeah.
And honestly, King of the Hill was one of my first forays into Texas.
So that's what you thought we were.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We kind of are, I guess.
Well,
really.
that's the thing. I have such a
sense.
greater appreciation for it,
Yeah.
having lived in Texas now. Like, it's not,
Sure.
I mean, you guys all know this, you guys listening know this, but it's not all rednecky like you would see about other portrayals of Texas. So I've heard it been called Texas anime in the past.
There's almost nowhere to tie up your horse anymore either.
No.
You know? Yeah.
You know,
I run into that all the time.
You know the song El Paso by Marty Robbins? This
Yeah,
is a
absolutely.
very quick
Yeah.
aside. I went to El Paso last year, first time, big fan of the song, went to Rose's Cantina,
Yeah.
no back door, no place to
Yeah,
tie
see,
horses.
it's
And I was
just,
like, well, this is just a lie.
it's just all bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of horseshit.
Let me ask you one question before we get started, and this has bothered me since I've met you and Drake. It's the Drake Toll Show.
Yeah.
Does that ever bother you that your name's not in it?
Drake says that I was the one who made sure it was named that.
Oh yeah.
No, it doesn't bother me. I'd love to have a name in there, but
I'm just trying to start some controversy. You
no,
know,
no.
just to see if I can get you guys to fight on air.
It's
or
you know, it's
something.
been very reflective, Mike. It really has. Drake is a bigger star than me, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, they were like, he comes to me and says, "They want to call it the Drake Toll Show." I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I'll just wait this thing out, bide my time, and
Yeah.
maybe the Cam Stewart.
Oh,
show
he'll
should
leave
go.
at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
You know,
big.
his head will get way too big.
Yeah.
All right, so Rusty Camp, we are doing season 5, episode 3. What number are we talking about? This is like 100 and
exact number of episode?
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
for us?
Yeah, for us.
Over 100.
Yeah, it's 100.
50. This is the 87th episode
actual King of the Hill
of
episode.
King of the Hill. So we've done 87 weeks at this point of.
So
King of
the title of this one. I think I started it too soon, but yeah,
Just a little
It's just
bit.
a build-up.
it's okay. This is what causes the copyright controversy right here.
Yeah.
There we go. Maybe not.
Yeah, I started it way too soon. So this is the title of this
Should have
is
just played the Dawson's Creek.
That's right,
theme,
yeah.
guys. I think that would have got there soon.
this is I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I want to know right now. Will it be? Sorry, don't want it. Don't want to wait.
Yeah, I don't want to wait.
Yeah, that's a long ass title, is what that is. But let's get started at this. This is.
This is Paul Lieberstein.
Oh, is it?
This is a Toby.
This is a Toby episode.
Toby from
Classic.
The Office. Yeah, the
Yes.
guy who played Toby. He was a big writer for King of the Hill or whatever. So this is his episode.
So one of the things that we always reference when we start one of these is whether there's a bell and a yell. When the music plays at the beginning, sometimes there's a bell, sometimes there's a yell. Do you know when they play those?
No, this is enlightening to me. I know you guys have talked about it on the show.
They
found it
only
out.
play them at the end of seasons or the beginning of
The
seasons.
seasons. So it's
That's
like an
it.
indicator. So
Other
if
than
you're
that,
ever
yeah.
watching a show in syndication and you hear the bell or yell,
Yeah,
it's
you know
it's probably
First
it's either a beginning or an
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
End
Isn't
of
that crazy?
season.
Yeah,
it's
I
just nuts.
usually.
Yeah,
my
it took
girlfriend
us a
and
while
I,
too to learn that.
Yeah.
We usually try to guess what the poll quote is going to be at the end, the way
Yeah,
we call
yeah,
it. Hell of a game to play, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to pick from literally any line possible. But
It's a lot of the time.
okay, that's good to know.
a lot of the
'cause
time
I like
it's a Dale.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what we got to go with, and it's not always the funniest line.
No.
and
Like this one is
frequently
not
it's
at
not.
the end of this.
Okay,
but it's
I
good.
purposely didn't look
Yeah.
at this one when I've done now 2 watches this week.
Then let's play that game.
All right, let's
try
let's
to
do
guess.
It.
You
Let's
try
do
to
it.
guess.
Now that I'm hearing it
You
through
try to guess the
transcripts,
stinger.
Yeah.
that might be better.
Okay, so let's start this sucker. We are at the airport terminal number 6, and it's Bobby and Peggy and Hank, and they're kind of waiting for for Bobby's plane to get there. We find out Bobby does not look happy about this whatsoever. So Peggy's trying to cheer him up. Bobby, honey, don't worry. You're going to your grandmother's for your birthday. It's going to be great. And Bobby's like, let's just get this over with. And then Hank's standing there, just like every dad in the world, watching the planes. You know,
Yeah,
I know that's
watching-
what I do. I
yeah.
just stand there and I watch the people work and the planes.
I
go
could watch
off
planes
and-
all day.
Yeah.
Actually, in Manchester.
He's English,
I'm
by
English
the way.
originally.
Cool.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't sound
I'm more of a
that, but
Liverpool
yeah.
guy, but I do like Manchester
Oh,
music.
there you go. Yeah, I'm a Manchester United fan. Red Devils.
Oh,
Yeah.
Red Devils.
golly.
But that's from
I
like
should have known this coming in.
I started being a fan of
Yeah,
them
that's the thing
in
you
the
shoulda
early '90s as a little kid. So Manchester United was the team to be a fan of when I was beginning
Yes.
to be fans
Yeah.
of soccer. So
when it was cool.
yeah, when it was cool.
I'm
I
a
actually
big fan
have
of
a
no soccer. That's what I like.
I
the
like
most,
soccer.
yeah.
I actually have a licensed Manchester United original Game Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
No
like
kidding.
it's like a holy grail for video games. Yeah.
So if you don't know anything about Rusty, he is a big analog collector.
yeah, I
Yeah.
Of a
collect,
lot of like
uh,
VHS,
VHS,
stuff.
CRT
Yeah.
TVs, VHS,
Lots
all
of
that kind stuff.
CRTs. Yeah.
Clifton Robinson Tower.
His
Yeah.
Oh, his wife loves
Yeah, but
it.
there's an airport right next to Manchester, or there's a restaurant right next to Manchester Airport where you
Yeah.
can sit and eat and watch planes take off right there. Like it's right like adjacent to the runway.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I
All
was figuring I would be the biggest Manchester music fan in Waco, but
Yeah.
that might not even be the case.
No,
which is
maybe
crazy.
not.
I
Maybe
mean,
not. Maybe not.
What a small world. Anyway,
So Hank's standing there watching the planes, and he's, "What's the matter? Aren't you excited to fly to Arizona? They got the Grand Canyon there. Of course, you won't be seeing it, but and Bobby's like, no, because Grandma thinks baby Bobby might fall in. And anyway, she's got coloring books at the Grand Canyon. So Bobby's not looking forward to this trip to see Tilly and Gary. The next, we transition, and now Bobby is in the back seat. He's obviously landed there with his in Arizona. And Tilly is talking to him. She's like, this old man came rolling. I don't know why she's singing that.
Yeah,
but
presumably the whole ride down.
Yeah,
is
that's
they
what I'm
want you to
saying.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. She goes, oh, this is my place, Bobby. Home sweet home. Building 42, living space K, in case we get separated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he rolls his eyes at that. But
Oh.
you've seen that retirement community, man.
yeah.
I need the numbers for that.
Well,
I need the numbers
This
for that.
this
It's all
reminds
the same.
this reminds me of any concert I ever go to. I just take a picture of where I'm parking.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I have gotten lost so many friggin' times.
You know, Google automatically does that for you.
Yeah, I get that, but look at me. So I'm just saying.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, so now we're inside on the couch. Tilly's talking to Bobby. She goes, I know your birthday's not for another few days, but I'm no good at keeping secrets. And she hands Bobby a present. She says, happy birthday. He opens it up, and it is a policeman's uniform.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a Halloween costume
Yeah,
type
play
policeman.
set, I believe it's what
Yeah, it
it's
says
called.
police
Yeah.
play set. It's got a shirt, a hat, and cuffs.
It's like the ones I used to have when I was a kid. You'd go through the flea markets
Yeah.
and stuff, and they would have it's like the not even really cardboard. It's like a paper. It's like
Yeah.
paper backing
Yeah.
on plastic,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it's already like glues falling apart, and like the guns are like hanging
it's
out of it.
wonderful
but it's
stuff.
those.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like little kids, Halloween, strippers,
Yes.
police play set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, those are the two.
They get to cut one a little bit more than the other, but yeah.
Sexy. If you get them mixed up, that's bad.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
dodgeball.
That's
yeah.
a tough one. So Bobby's like a policeman's uniform. It says ages 7 and up. And of course, Gary's there, and Gary is played by.
Oh, Gary
Isn't it
is
Gary Marshall, right?
I think it was Gary
Yeah.
Marshall.
I believe it's Gary Marshall playing this. Penny Marshall's father, the great comedian, producer, the guy who produced.
No,
Pretty-
Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner.
Reiner.
Never mind.
Sorry.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Carl
Carl Reiner, the
Reiner.
great Carl
my bad.
Reiner.
My bad. Carl
He goes,
Reiner.
Tilly, Bobby isn't 7 years old. He's what, 9, 10? I mean, like he doesn't know either.
Yeah.
That's like me with my
And speak-
Right, that's
grandchildren.
classic
I have
old person, but he's
no-
just cool enough. Like he's trying to defend him, but he
Yeah.
also he's like your barber. He's like, "What are you in high school now?"
Yeah.
26.
This is also his last episode.
Is it?
He has a non-speaking part, of course, in season
Yeah.
11, where everybody has that one non-speaking part at
Right.
the wedding or
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
where it goes through all
Yeah.
the characters. But and then he's
actual end.
mentioned again in season 13, but he's not
No more
ever
speaking.
seen because she leaves him. Remember, Tilly leaves
Oh,
Gary,
that is right. Yeah.
and because she has an affair with Chuck.
Yeah, you're giving it away.
Stay tuned. Couple years.
He goes, what, 9, 10? Bobby says, I'll be 13 next week. Just, and he's very much kind of getting into that teenager thing. The weird thing about Bobby is how slowly he comes into being a teenager.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah,
loves,
he's a late bloomer.
well, he loves
Right.
being a little kid. He
Yeah.
loves
Yeah,
he
riding
enjoys
bikes,
it so
drives all
much.
this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny because he's hyper aware of everything that goes after being a kid, but he clings to being a kid so hard that he tries to block out all of the puberty stuff.
Absolutely. So Gary says to him, 13, in my religion, that's a passage into manhood. It's called a bar mitzvah or big party. Is that what it really means? Does bar mitzvah mean a big party?
I don't
Might
I
as
can't
well,
imagine
if it-
that. I can't imagine that that's what that means. So Bobby says, "Oh, is that an Arizona thing? How does it? Okay, so here's a question I have: Bobby, with his love of like Jewish comedy, how does he
Right.
not know what a bar mitzvah is?
Yeah, it translates to one who is subject to the law, or literal translation is son of commandment.
Yeah, see, it's
Basically
not a
the
big
same
party. Yeah,
basically.
Well, what's funny about that
basically
question,
a big
though,
party. Yeah.
with Bobby is he seems to know
He does.
in like 2
Yeah.
lines,
yeah.
right? But this is a great line from Gary.
What?
Coming up.
What are you talking about? That the whole thing.
What are
with
you
him.
talking about?
Oh,
yeah.
that's a classic.
Yeah, Gary says Arizona, New York, Miami. I got so many fancy pen and pencil sets. I was getting them away for years, and you know exactly what they're talking about. Those cross pencil
Yes.
sets. We've talked about this.
Yeah, we
before.
talked about it before.
The ones that are so smooth that you can't hold them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
they just slip out of your damn hand. I'd never understood why those were
Real
considered
slick.
fancy.
Yeah.
Professional, yeah.
Who? What professional is using those?
You got to glue. You got
Ones who don't have to sign their own checks.
People, that's exactly right. Yeah. So Bobby says, pen and pencil set. That is very manly.
That's such a great Bobby thought process.
right.
A peek inside the brain.
He says, "Can I get a bar mitzvah? I'm willing to celebrate Hanukkah." Trust me.
Therefore implying he knows.
Gary,
This
yeah,
line right
exactly. Gary's like, trust me, it's more work than you're going to want to put in. He goes, I'll tell you what, tomorrow you spend the day with me. I'll show you how a man enjoys Arizona. By the time you leave here, you'll have hair on your kishkas. Okay.
Which is what we all strive for.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
remember
asking for Christmas.
I remember the day
uh,
when my kishkas dropped.
A kishka is actually a Jewish type of food.
Yeah.
It's a beef or fowl intestine stuffed with a
Foul
mixture.
intestine.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
like a
I'd
beef,
like some hair on there.
Either a beef intestine or a bird intestine stuffed with flour, fat, onion, and seasonings, and then they roast it.
I have never heard of a food that's made out of a bird intestine. A
I've
lot of pig
never heard of
intestines,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says put on that bird condom. You
It's
know?
also,
I mean, that's not a thing.
It's known as stuffed derma.
Okay. That
Derma.
sounds
There you
wonderful.
Go. There you go. A kishka, everybody.
A
I
kishka.
might cook some kishkas and then bring some for you to eat.
That sounds wonderful. I'll eat just about anything you bring. So now we're back. Hank is in his garage. We're back on Rainy Street, and he's obviously working away. You know how Hank does. In comes Dale. He's, what are you making, Hank? He goes, hey, Bill. I'm sorry, Bill comes in. He goes, what are you making, Hank? He goes, hey, Bill, I'm making a coffin. Bill's like, a coffin? He goes, yep. I was talking to a client the other day about forest fires, and I can't remember exactly how the conversation turned to coffins, but long story short, I got the bug for coffins.
As we all do.
The coffin bug. Anyway, Bill thinks it looks nice. We're back at Gary's.
Don't you think I think it's like a morbid process of
It
still being
is.
alive. I'm not even going to pick anything out. I'm just going to die, and then the burden of my death will be left on those behind
As
me.
it
You know what
should
I mean?
be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've told my
I might
wife-
leave him some money to figure it out, but like everything on
No.
that, like
No.
cremate me, bury me, whatever you choose to do, go for it.
I've
Turn
told
me
my-
into compost.
I've told my wife, I mean, if you can get $5 for me to sell me to science
Sell
or
you to
something, just do it.
science.
I
That's
don't care.
something, yeah.
I don't care.
That's what my grandma. She's 90.
Very few of 'em come back.
and she's actually already signed all the paperwork.
Really?
So all of her like internals go to science.
Her internals.
Yes, well, her
Her
carcass.
bird kishkas.
Yeah, her carcass is going to be like cremated, but all of her kishkas are going to be her kishkas are going to be observed by science.
So we find out that Gary has his own place. He and Bobby walk into it, and he goes, "This is my bachelor pad for the next week because you're so old. It's your bachelor pad." And Bobby, of course, he thinks he's big shit at this point. He's like, my own pad. And then you see Gary, he raises the end of the hospital bed, right? Like we all have. And Bobby sees it and he goes, "Oh, I wish my girlfriend was here. She really likes to sit up."
Bang.
Which is great.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
By the way, just having your own pad on this trip to your grandparents,
Yes.
which obviously Bobby hates,
Yeah.
but getting his own pad, that's sick.
Oh, it's
that's
huge.
an unbelievable
Yeah,
birthday
huge.
present. I was thinking about that on the second watch this week. I was like, I hadn't really thought of that, but if I was in that situation, as someone who hates talking to people, it'd be perfect.
Oh, I'm glad you're here then. If you
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
talking to
I
people,
do
that's
hate talking to
wonderful,
people.
Yeah. So
That's
Bobby,
odd too that a bunch of podcasters hate talking to people.
That's right.
Yes.
Bobby,
That's why we
This
talk to
great
like
conundrum.
we get to choose who we talk to. Though.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby shows a picture of him, Connie, and Joseph to Gary, and Gary goes, "Oh, so you got a girlfriend?" He goes, "Yeah, she's on the left." What? Like he has to point out.
Joseph has some
Just to
long
point
hair,
out,
I guess.
Yeah.
Gary says, "Oh, she's just a little slip of a thing." Has anybody ever called you a little slip of a thing?
Nah.
I mean, I've heard that said.
I've heard the saying,
Yeah.
but usually a slip is always referred to like a slinky dress or
Yeah.
something. That's what
Yeah.
I always thought of a slip.
Not a 12-year-old girl.
Right.
Or
That seems a
right.
little odd.
or an old man.
I'm not ruling
slipping
it
in
out
the ice.
someday for me to be referred to as that.
As a slip?
Yeah.
As
I
a
mean,
little slip
of a
little
thing.
life's
of a thing.
still young or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little slip of a thing.
Life's still young.
Maybe.
Gary says she's a little slip of a thing, and Bobby's like, "Yeah, she's got her period already." Great reference, Bobby. He goes, "Give it 50 years, it'll go away." He goes, "Who's the guy?" He says, "That's my best friend Joseph. He won't be 13 for a few months." Gary says, "Well, feel free to give your little friend a call. I'll give you some privacy. I almost forgot. Use my cart." And he throws his keys to his golf cart to him in slow motion. And, of course, Bobby misses them, but then he gets them, and he's just so happy. Now he's got a vehicle.
He's got a
that is
house, a car.
Ultimate for a 13.
huge.
Wow.
A golf cart? You kidding?
Yeah. He's got hairy kishkas. And
The
now,
two things, the gifts that keep on giving.
the
truly.
hairy kishkas?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
sure.
golf carts.
Yeah. Well, I thought you meant both of the kishkas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a good point, Mike. Yeah.
So we're back in Hank's garage, and all four guys. So we got Bill, Boomhauer, Hank, and Dale. And of course, Dale watching. They're all watching Hank still build a coffin. Dale, of course, with his untenable facts here. Count Dracula has thousands of coffins. They say he sleeps in a different coffin every night. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what I heard. Okay. And Bill, of course, he's like, "Oh, it sounds true." No, it sounds made up. I don't know. So Hank drops the lid on the coffin. He goes, "All right, that should do it." And then Dale, of course, that is a terrible coffin. I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't know why you're friends with Dale.
It's a great
Dale
question.
is a
It's a
dick.
great question.
Dale
He is
is
a dick.
He's a weird friend.
really
Well,
is.
so is Bill too. The only like even Boomhauer has his moments.
Boomhauer
where
has his
it's
moments.
like,
Yeah, you're absolutely
How are
right.
these four guys friends? Yeah.
Yeah. What does Dale give back to the
He
group?
doesn't.
He doesn't. That's the thing.
No, you're constantly having to save his ass.
Weirdly enough, I mean,
The one thing-
Nancy at times loves him more than
Yeah.
any of his friends.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's
think
true.
it's actually his
Ironically.
his surveillance nature. All older men are like by nature generally nosy. You
Are
know,
we?
peek out the blinds when you hear a car go by real fast. Well,
Well,
you live at the
okay.
bottom.
You
live
got
at the,
me there.
You live
Yeah.
at the end though, don't you?
I live in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, but you live at
So
the very very
when
end of
there's
it
any
too, right? Yeah.
when there's any dust up in the cul-de-sac, I
You gotta
do
look.
stand
You
at
gotta
the-
know.
You got to
You
go
got to
stand in the
know.
window.
I stand at the window in my underwear, just staring out at whatever's going on.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
No affiliation, just checking it out.
No.
Yeah.
My neighbors know at this point. Like I take the trash out in my underwear. We had to house sit for somebody across the street.
Oh, you're
one
that
time.
guy in the neighborhood?
I went in
Underwear
my underwear
out.
over to their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Amongst
It
friends,
just
yeah.
doesn't matter at this point. If you've seen it, you've seen it.
Harry Kishka's everywhere.
Harry Kishka's all for everyone.
And his unmentionable.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's unmentionables. Yeah.
So we're back in Arizona. Bobby is in this golf cart, and he is straight up pimping in this cart. Like he's got his one arm to the side, and he's kind of driving, like It reminds me of that GIF of "It's been a good day," that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the Ice Cube.
Yeah, the Ice Cube thing.
GIF,
So he's driving along, stops when he sees this older couple driving their car, and he goes, "Mr. O'Connor, I'm Bobby Hill. I live next door to you. I'm having some people over tomorrow night, 8-ish to whatever." He's just such a pimp sometimes.
He's so smooth sometimes that I'm like,
is.
where is he getting that from?
That's why I
he's
said
not
he's-
getting it from Hank or
I think
Peggy.
it's media.
Yeah, I
I
think it's
seriously
the
think
media.
Yeah, he
picks
does
it up.
consume a lot of media.
He does.
And then, like I said, he's not completely detached from the older side
Right.
of things.
Right.
It's like he skipped puberty and went straight to
He
middle
did.
age. He's just so slick. Yeah.
He is a middle-aged man. The Mr. O'Connor says, "What can I bring?" He says, "Your appetite and your wife, and some potato salad if she brings her appetite."
Smooth.
I did not mention though. The beginning of this, Bobby is trying to get out of the parallel parking, just like jick, 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 back and forth, but he finally makes it. All right, so we're now back in the garage. Peggy comes into the garage while Hank is still working. "Honey, do you want butter beans or lima beans?" "Oh, are you building a coffin?" I mean, that's a normal conversation.
is a normal
we
conversation.
normally have.
And it's funny that he's building the coffins. Who
yes.
builds their own coffin?
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Besides
he got the bug.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
What are you gonna do when you get the bug?
You can't do much. He goes, "Yep, one for me and one for you." I mean, he's very happy. This is such a gift he's given to his wife. This coffin. She says, "Hank, why didn't the lid on mine close all the way?" And she's just like poking at the lid. It keeps coming up, and down. He goes, "Oh, well, it does. I mean, it almost closes. I'll make sure it closes on the big day." The big day.
Hey, did I ever tell you? I used to go to Oklahoma in the summers when I was a
In
kid.
a coffin?
No, not in a coffin, but it's coffin related. So
I just wanted to be in one.
Coffin adjacent.
So my buddy, his dad owned this business where they made vaults. And,
Okay.
and it was like what it was just a big concrete box
A coffin's kind
that
of a
they
vault.
would put in a
Pretty much.
coffin.
Like a body vault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was. It was
Time
it-
capsule, depending on
Sure.
what
Yeah,
happened
time
to you.
capsule.
Yeah.
They would put the coffin inside of
A
these big
gross one,
concrete
but a
boxes.
But a capsule.
And so we were pouring up these concrete boxes, and also it was like half of the business was a part of the funeral home, the local funeral home.
Yeah.
So we had to go. Actually, one time it was a body that was buried in the wrong space because we set up for funerals, and we would dig the graves and put the caskets
What
in
a
the grave.
fun
and all
I
that.
was gonna say,
childhood.
sounds
It was
real fun.
it was
Yeah.
like a
sounds
a
great.
teenage summer job kind of thing. I did it for 3
Coming
summers.
of age
Wow.
story.
Yeah, I did
at
it for
the
like 3
funeral
Say,
summers.
home.
this is a novel.
It was
Yeah.
great money. Yeah, it was
Stuff
great
here.
money for a 16-year-old kid. I made tons of money those summers.
Sure, because you got to go through their pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually had to go and dig up a body that had been in the ground for like
Wonderful.
9
Oh,
months.
boy.
So it was a casket
Time
that
capsule.
was
see?
Sure,
time
that's
capsule.
right.
You can always pull
It was
them
only a
back.
9-month
This
time
time capsule
capsule, but it was
sucks.
still a time capsule. But yeah, so I
Like being
remember
pregnant, yeah.
crawling into the grave and attaching straps.
Not at all, but yeah,
Around
sure.
the,
9-month time capsule.
I get it. Yeah,
Yeah. So I actually had to like
Body
climb into
change,
the
yeah,
grave and then wrap straps
Oh my
around
God.
the casket.
For real?
And then I had to ride the casket up to ground level and hop off the casket so they could pull
How
the
old
casket
were
all the way
you?
up. I was like 16, 17.
So
I had nightmares. I'm
formative-
not gonna lie. I had
formative
some.
years.
Yeah,
I had
that's-
some real live nightmares about that particular incident. And there's every now and again, even at 30, detached from that far, I still have a nightmare about that.
And
every
it's
now
Made you
again.
the man you are today.
Yeah, it
Tell
is.
me,
It's crazy.
tell me
stuff.
who this was again.
It was a buddy of mine's dad. It was a close friend of mine's dad who he owned the vault company.
Yeah.
But it
Do you
was
think
like
he was a grave robber?
partnership. No, he wasn't a grave.
Oh, okay. I've
Yeah,
always
I might
wondered-
need to
You know,
call
if
the
you're doing what
police.
you love, you never work
Sure,
a day in your
Yeah,
life.
that's
yeah.
right.
I might need to call the police. I might have been a part of some
Well,
illegal
that would be great
activity
for
or
you
something.
too. You don't like to talk to people.
That's true.
I mean,
yeah. Well, they don't answer anyway.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
well,
they
you
don't
don't
answer.
want them to answer.
Right,
Put it that
yeah.
way. So he goes, I'll make sure it closes on the big day. She goes, no, Hank, you will build me a new one because if you try to stick the late Peggy Hill in an inferior casket, she will come back to haunt you. I will see to it.
Yeah.
She's such
She
a,
will do it, and
she's
I will. see
such
to
a
it.
turd.
I hate Peggy.
She
If
is-
that's one thing you
she's
need
a
to know about me
terrible
in the show.
person.
I hate Peggy. There are. This is actually a great, in a weird way, Peggy episode.
Yeah.
Even though she's like the
Barely
fifth.
in it, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
of really no importance.
Yeah.
But there's like 2 lines that I'm like, you know what? I really agree with you there, Peggy.
Yeah.
And then 2 where I'm like, this is why I
Yeah.
just hate Peggy so damn much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I do
talk
think
about
calling yourself
shitty
the late
Peggy
Peggy
all the
Hills
time.
funny.
Yeah,
yes, which I love. It's my
She
favorite
is
part.
shitty
Yeah,
Peggy.
hashtag shitty Peggy.
I just find like nothing redeemable other than she does love her family, of course, but
she loves herself way
yes,
more. Way more.
It just always comes across, even when it's something good, it's always for
Yeah, like
That's
your
right.
husband,
Hill.
like for instance, right here, your husband just handcrafted you a coffin, and you're gonna be dead.
To be fair, it is shitty.
and you're worried
Shitty
about
coffin.
That's true. It's not Hank quality,
It's
honestly.
not. It's not. Yeah.
It's not good.
Okay, so we are. The next thing we see is a sign for the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Then we see Bobby on the plane. He's getting ready to come home. But he has a little gift in his hand, and it says to Mr. Bobby Hill. He opens it up. It's a silver pen and pencil set from Gary, and he goes, "Yes, today I am a man." I mean, that's wonderful.
That's better
for
than
Bobby.
your Keisha's dropping.
Oh, please.
Anything like that.
It's better than his other
Please.
grandpa. You know, his other grandpa takes him to whorehouses and gambling and stuff like that. And
Well,
And yet, all it
6
took was
of
a
1.
pen and pencil to become a man.
Yeah.
6 of 1, half dozen. of
Oh,
another.
I was looking for a Cotton episode this season.
So
Cotton guy.
on the way home from the airport now with Hank and Peggy, he's in the back seat, and of course Bobby's reading the newspaper at this point because he is 65 years old. Hank says, Joseph is coming home today from summer camp. I thought we'd all go out to dinner. We're meeting the Gribbles over at Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes. We've never heard of rattlesnakes.
Oh.
I think that was one of the ones that we had discussed in that.
Was it? When we did like that Friday thing where we went over
Yeah,
all the
we went over
fictitious
all of the
businesses.
fictitious businesses or whatever.
What's the restaurant they usually go to? It's slipping my mind.
It's Sugarfoot's.
Or
Sugarfoots.
Goober Smooches.
Sugarfoots or Goober Smooches,
Yeah,
yeah.
Goober
Yeah.
Smooches.
Sugarfoot's gets a lot of play though.
So here we go.
That's the steak one.
Sugarfoot's is the
Right?
steak one,
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and for a while it was Peggy's Sugarfoot's.
Right.
Yeah, it was Peggy
Right.
Sugarfoots.
The only part she kept from her tenure there was just the
Yeah.
part that says Peggy's.
Yes.
So the-
So now she has
Once
it in
again,
her
back to
office.
Peggy.
Yeah. So to sweep up
Yeah.
for continuity, this is the first episode that it's shown, and this restaurant has a southwestern theme, so it's like chicken fried chicken, chicken fried steak, and onion loaves.
Which is all of their restaurants.
Yeah, which is all their restaurants, and then it shows up again
Luli's also.
in
Yep,
the
yep.
Pygmalion.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to that
Yeah,
episode.
the one that
one's a great
people
episode.
Unreal
like,
episode.
don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
Yeah,
episode.
uncomfortable episode.
Yeah,
Is that
very
this season?
uncomfortable. I don't think it's this
Okay.
season.
It's coming up though.
It might
You guys
be.
stay tuned. We'll get around to it.
It's actually
Just keep following along. We won't
Yeah,
tell you
it's
when.
fine.
it is.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're on the way back. Bobby's in the back reading the newspaper. He says, we're going to meet the Gribbles over at Rattlesnakes. And, of course, Bobby, again, 65-year-old man. That's nice. Joseph's a good kid. I'm planning on taking him under my wing like Gary did with me. They pull into the...
No reaction from Hank. by the
No,
way, which
none
I expected.
whatsoever.
none whatsoever.
I don't think he listens to him about
I,
half
that
the time.
right,
He
yeah.
just lets
That's
it
kind of what
wash
my
over
dad did
him.
a lot when I was a
Yeah,
kid, so I get
yeah,
that.
Yeah, my dad did not care what I said. Now we're at Rattlesnakes. We'll pull in the parking lot. Everybody pulls in. And then the Gribbles pull in. Nancy gets out. She opens the door, and Joseph gets out, and he's about 16 foot taller than he was the last time he saw him.
Yeah, because remember
Puberty is hit hard.
the
on
last
this kid.
episode that you see him physically see him and him
Yeah.
being young is that season ender for season 4.
Well, this is the one where they change the voice, right? Is this where it changes?
This is where his voice becomes what's the actor's
Huss?
name? No, not Huss. It's the actor. He's an actor, a big actor too, or
okay.
not big actor.
Tom Hanks.
He was in Clueless
Gotcha,
and stuff.
yeah.
Sure.
No,
Paul
not
Rudd,
that big.
yep.
It's all Paul Rudd and
Yep.
Tom Hanks. Yeah,
No, not Paul Rudd. Maybe as famous as Paul Rudd,
yeah.
because Paul Rudd to me is is not like a AA, AAA. Is he? Is he a
He's-
AAA?
he's
Is he?
Ant-Man.
I mean,
Come on.
Well, I don't know.
This is 40.
Let's
in
see.
Kansas City, he is quadruple A.
Is he?
Big time. Yeah, they love him there.
In
You go to
Kansas City?
Kansas City, you got to, right?
They love
Yeah.
their chili spaghetti and Paul Rudd.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, sure. I got you. So
No,
Joseph
Breckin Meyer.
Breckin Meyer. There we go.
Meyer
There we
takes
go.
over his
Meyer.
voice.
Breckin Meyer is a B.
Because his voice before then was before Breckenmeyer. I can't remember who it was now, but there
was a small Chinese lady.
Was it?
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, I don't know.
See.
Either. I was gonna say, was it? No, I don't think
So Joseph gets out. He's very tall. He goes, Joseph? He goes, hey, Bobby. I mean, he sounds like a kid that's
Oh.
going through. He
Yeah.
always.
Brittany
They do
Murphy.
now.
Brittany
Yeah, that's
Murphy.
right. Brittany Murphy
Yeah,
did
she
it
did
before.
seasons
That's
1
right.
through 4.
Yeah. All right, now we're inside the restaurant. They're all sitting around the thing, and or the table is what I call a thing. And they're all getting their menus. Bobby gets handed a kid's menu, which you know is not going to go over well. And so Bobby's like, and he's talking to Joseph. So did you grow mostly in a few nights or evenly throughout the summer? And Joseph's like, I don't know. And then the waitress comes over. Hi, I'm Jennifer. How is everyone tonight? And Dale, Jennifer, we're fantastic.
That's Brittany Murphy.
Jennifer.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, Jennifer's
Jennifer
Brittany
also?
Murphy. Yeah.
She goes, can I start you off with something to drink? And that's when she hands Bobby the kids menu. Bobby's like, no, I'll take the other menu like my young friend. Thank you, Jennifer. I love how he addresses people by their name and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then Hank from the end of the table, Bobby, order off the kids menu while you still can. It's cheaper.
That struck me. That moment.
That is
I can't
every
tell you how
father.
many I was a late bloomer, right? Shortest kid in the class.
Yeah.
Every time. Growing up in Massachusetts versus Texas, there's a lot of differences. But small town, both Arlen and
location.
my hometown of Rockland. And so I was like, that's a carryover right there.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times that happened to me as a kid.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure Hank Hill would smuggle smart food into the movie theater so we didn't have to pay for
100%.
popcorn, much like
Yeah.
my dad did with
bologna
me.
sandwiches.
So yes. So that was one of those things. I was like, hell yeah, man. We did that too.
Or that one where they nudge you and they say you're 11, not 12.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
11.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, I'm trying to get into a PG-13 movie at 15 and a half.
You take the gray out of my beard and my hair, and I have looked this way since I was about 16 years old. And so I could buy liquor, I could get into all the places, I could go to the R-rated movie, all the stuff. Right?
I was
the guy who got you into all the things.
I couldn't get you into things, but I could get myself into things. I was in NJROTC in high school, and I'm not going to say I walk around saluting people and said that I was military, but I always had like a Navy shirt on.
Thanks for your service.
And dog tags, and nobody ever questioned anything. You could just set beer on the counter.
Yeah.
And once I realized that power of just a Navy shirt and just metal dog tags, like I would have to tell people, oh yeah, just whatever. But I was able to buy
that
alcohol.
kind of happens with Joseph here, because Peggy's like, I'll have a beer, which you don't ever really see Peggy order a beer.
No.
But twice
Even
in
though
this
she worked
episode,
there.
she gets a beer.
Yeah.
Hank's like beer. Dale, of course, beer, Jennifer. I mean, he's just
Beer.
so over the
Yeah.
top. And then Jennifer looks at Joseph and she goes, let me guess, beer. And Joseph's like, what? And Bobby's like, him? And so then you hear Dale pipe up. So can you believe it? He must have put 6 inches on him. Can you believe it, Hank? Can you? Peggy, can you believe it? I mean, he's like a machine gun.
Yeah.
He's like a dog. Like we're
he
fostering
just-
a dog right now
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly like Dale Gribble.
You're fostering a dog.
Yes.
What kind of dog?
Um,
I've never
he
understood the
is-
fostering of dogs, but go ahead.
Well,
and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah. So I can give you kind of the brief story. So we actually, our neighbors had this dog that lived outside all the time, and the poor thing, I mean, he would bark all night when it was freezing and whatever, and they just like never let him inside the house. And then one day they left, and for like a month, we thought they had moved away. And we didn't hear the dog anymore, so we're like, okay, I guess they took the dog. And then the other day, he was, or not the other day, this was months ago, he was wandering around our front yard. So they left him. They eventually came back, but just left him there to die for a month.
Sucks.
So we've taken him in. He is a pit bull terrier mix, little pit bull in there.
Yeah.
But he just comes in. He's got no training, like nothing.
Right.
He's never even been inside.
Feral.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't even know like the hardwood floor. So we've had him for a couple of months. We were desperately looking for somebody to take him full time. He's a good dog. He's just a puppy.
Have you named him?
And well, his unofficial name is Big Man.
Big Man.
Yes.
Okay.
Which evolved from Little Man, if you can believe that.
Sure.
I shortened it to Big Man.
No medium man.
No medium.
Yeah.
No mezzo man.
Mezzo
So he's on the Central Texas Humane Society website.
Okay.
Under Big Man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my name of Nomar was shot down. So
Don't search anything else for Big Man.
Yes.
Please
right.
go to that
Just
site.
Start with the website, not with Googling Big
right.
Man.
Don't
and
want
then-
Big Man. Yeah, that's a whole different result.
But he is a really good dog. He just needs some
you
time with a
know,
loving family.
there are very few dogs out there that are rotten. You know what I mean?
Very few.
I mean, like
Yeah.
it's all training. It's all training, and it's their environment.
Because he's a pit bull mix, people think the worst of
Well,
him,
you
and
always,
and
yeah.
they think he's aggressive. When I'm like, no, he just really wants to play, man.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
that's it.
just a puppy, man.
And they don't know how big they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guarantee in like 3 or 4 years he probably won't even be aggressive at all.
Sure.
Like he'll just be a regular dog. But now he's a puppy. So
Well,
anyway,
especially with the medication you're giving him. Yeah.
Yes, and we make sure.
So.
But he's like Dale in this scene. Is
Yes.
what I'm trying
Dale,
to get at.
Dale is just
Yeah.
like, can you believe it? Can you
Yeah.
believe it? Can you?
And this is a great Peggy line.
Yeah, Peggy's like, well, I have to, Dale. I see Joseph right here. She's
Peggy,
a
you're right
nerd.
back in my good
What
graces.
an asshole.
Oh, love that. That's exactly something I
Dale's
would
like, yeah, you got to see it to believe it. Well
no
put.
shit, Dale.
Yeah. And you hear Jennifer again. Can I take your order now? Dale says, chicken. She goes, sir, and points to Hank. He goes, chicken. She goes, all right. And then son, she's speaking to Bobby, and Bobby, obviously it washes over him. He's still being seen as a kid. He goes, the chicken, please. And then she says, I love this. This is a great throw to commercial. Is that the chicken wingdings or the choo-choo chicken fries? And he's just like, oh, God. And he ends up going, choo-choo. And that is our first commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be right back.
That's funny.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
All right. We are back, and we are in the Hill kitchen. Bobby is at the table, and he looks pretty down, honestly. Peggy comes in, and the thing about this entrance from Peggy is you don't see this very often, where there's nothing, and then she just boop, pokes her head in, and she's like, well, how's my little birthday, man? You notice I said man. He goes, he also said little. Bobby, honey, I want you to an adult party. And what you need is professional disc jockey. This is a lovely idea she has here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Bobby has like a shit ton of cookie wrappers around him. He's just been rifling through the cookies in his
It's a tough time in his life, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so Peggy says, you need a professional disc jockey at your party. She goes, so guess where I was from 3:10 until 5 today? I love the specificity. The learning annex. DJ Spaz taught me how to really turn it out. This is exactly how you want your mom talking to you.
Yeah.
Bobby's like, Mom. She goes, I learned how to scratch. He said, no. And cut and wipe. And he said, I was kind of hoping that you and Dad would stay in the garage, during the party. She goes,
or at least hire TJ Spaz.
that's
please.
it.
Yeah.
DJ Spaz. Lovely. She goes, but Bobby, I have carried the cake in 12 years in a row. She goes, all right, it's your father, isn't it? He'll be fine if you only want me there, honey. Again, it's all about
Totally
Peggy.
toned down.
All about Peggy, yeah, asshole.
Totally
He goes,
toned down.
Mom. She goes, all right, very well. Let's get your first big mistake as a teenager out of the way, which is pushing your mom aside. This is nuts. All right, so now we see Joseph outside, and he's rolling up a sleeping bag. And Bobby rides up on his bike, and he goes, hey, Joseph, my mom said I could have a 6-foot sub for my party. I could use a little help taste testing. And, of course, Joseph's like, I don't have time for this, Bobby. I got a lot of important stuff to stow. Bobby said, it's my 13th birthday, and if you want me to sneak you into any PG-13 movies, you'd better get on your bike and help me eat subs. And he goes, I said no. He's just so moody. Poor Joseph.
It's hit him hard. It's hit him quick.
It has hit him really bad, yeah. Now we're in Connie's room, and we're eating. It's like a wedding cake testing or something.
Yes.
There's all these little pieces of subs,
Yeah.
and they all have the little flags on them, and so they're all a little bit different. And they're taste testing these stupid pieces of subs.
As if they would be different.
That's what
from
I'm
other
saying.
times,
I
you
mean,
know
it's
what
all
I
just a
mean?
damn
Yeah,
sub.
that's weird, yeah.
I find it hard to believe that Bobby hasn't had a sub from whatever place this
Yeah,
is,
sure,
and probably
sure.
every flavor.
Yeah, I'm sure that he has. He loves the chicken liver.
Yeah.
Bobby
Choo-choo
loves
chicken liver.
Choo-choo chicken. Choo-choo
Yep.
chews me. So he's talking to Connie, and he's like, so then I asked Joseph if he wanted to go riding bikes, and he was all, no, I got some things to do around the house. What's with that? He went to kids camp. I'm the one who just spent a week in a retirement community.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Connie being the voice of reason, she goes, you know, Bobby, there are some days of the month I don't like to ride a bike either. He goes, because you get your period? He goes, I choose not to use that word. He goes, why? It's a natural, beautiful thing. She's like, you don't understand. You're not there yet. He goes, you better check the map, honey, because I'm living in downtown there. What the fuck?
I want to use that line somewhere in my life.
Yeah,
I haven't quite figured out where.
Get ready to be lonely.
I'm in downtown
after you
there,
use that.
baby. Yeah.
All right, now we're in Joseph's garage, and Joseph is in there kind of messing with his bike. Bobby rides in again. He goes, so, fixing up your bike to sell it? Because he's just trying to get back with his friend here, trying to get back in good graces. He goes, I guess you'll be getting a motorcycle or a town car or something. A town car.
Town car.
This is like the old. I mean, Bobby always has this kind of middle age, like we're
He's
talking
got the
about.
wonderful.
But it's just all the greatest hits.
Yeah.
In this
Oh, it
episode.
is, yeah.
Like it's just everything, every other line.
A motorcycle or a town car or something. Joseph's like, yeah. He doesn't even turn around to look at Bobby, And Bobby's just like, well, I mean, here's an invitation for my birthday party. There's going to be a lot of stuff you like there, grown-up stuff like dancing. And then Joseph's like, dancing? I don't think so. And then he starts just kind of shaking, and Bobby thinks he's laughing. He goes, what's so funny, Mr. 5 feet 10 inches with your fancy armpit hair, I'm guessing? Love that line. That is one of my favorite lines here. Joseph turns to him, and there's tears coming out of his eyes. And he goes, Joseph, what's going on? He goes, I can't dance. He goes, compared to me, no. Joseph says, I got stretch marks on my shoulders and zits on my back. And then he gets on his bicycle. He tries to ride it. It doesn't go well. And he goes, I can't even ride my own bike anymore. And then just kicks it over. He goes, in a million times a day, my dad asked me, how's the weather up there?
Which is the most believable thing.
That
of all
is
time.
absolutely. Bobby says, well, tell him it's fair to partly stupid. He goes, man.
That's good. That's good. That's a good comeback.
That is a
Well,
good comeback.
Joseph, he's like, man, you always know the things to say. That's why you have a girlfriend. He goes, yeah, I do, don't I? Yeah. He goes, I want a girl too. Oh, I just can't stop thinking about them. I can't get girls out of my head. I just got to get out.
He's like tortured. He's like
yeah,
grabbing
yeah.
his hair.
That's why
it's like walk the line scenes.
That's
This
why I
is-
think
that's exactly
Bobby
it.
is like. I think he's probably participated in puberty maybe more than he lets on.
Joseph, if Joseph does not complete at some point soon, he is going to become a serial killer.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
this is what they invented the word incel for. Bobby says, come on, Joseph, I told you, Charisse were coming to my party, and she didn't turn me down. He goes, I bet she grew this summer, too. And he starts, like, slicking his hair back. And Joseph has always been a little creepy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is
yeah.
super effing creepy at this point.
Oh
He goes,
yeah, the hormones make him creepier.
Well, at this
the
point,
rest of
This could
the
be like a
series,
great
he's pretty creepy.
psychological case study.
Oh.
This fathering and all that would be great.
He stares off into the distance and goes, she's always been really tall.
Yeah, this is where his art. This
Which,
is
by
where,
the way, terrified me as a
Yes,
kid. But
it's
Joseph is so
absolutely
into it.
This is why his arc gets scarier right here. This is where his arc is like he gets into.
Yeah,
he
man,
turns into this
almost
weird
demonic.
like puberty monster.
Yeah.
So now we're in Hank's garage. All three guys are watching Hank still build a coffin. Hank is now sewing or upholstering, excuse me,
Yes.
the inside
Yeah,
of the
don't
coffin.
say sewing.
Yeah.
I'm not sewing.
Yeah.
I'm upholstering.
Bill
Yeah.
Bill says, I didn't know you sewed, Hank. And then Dale, as an insult, just says, sewer. Hank's like, I am not sewing. I'm upholstering, which is one of the 5 original industrial arts. What?
Hell yeah.
Whatever that
Hell
means.
Yeah.
Dale, whatever you say, Aunt B. While you're at it, maybe you can quilt one of them coffins for me. It's only a matter of time before Joseph's hormonal rage forces him to kill me in my sleep and marry my mother. He goes, anywho, you got a button tuck the folds? That's fantastic.
I think that's the best line in the show.
Yeah,
in this
but I
episode.
mean,
It's
literally,
great.
that's what we were just talking about.
And
I
it's,
think
it's
it would
the,
happen.
And I was just gonna say that's the most like.
Oh, it's accurate.
Yeah, it's the most coherent. I guess I don't know what the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
is.
No, that's right, it's coherent, yeah.
Astute observation that Dale's
Yeah.
ever made. He's actually looking beyond the fold a little bit.
Well,
between
the
the
button
lines.
tuck folds.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, those.
Bill says, yeah, man, Needle got a lot of better ways than that. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Boomhauer. Yeah, man, the Needle got a lot better way than that old button tucking them folds. Okay, great, Boomhauer. Thank you for the insight.
Sound advice.
Now it's nighttime. It's at the Hill House. The party has started. Bobby is answering the door. These 2 girls come to the door. They've got gifts, and he goes, Well, I won't be able to blow out my candles because you just took my breath away.
Actually, I have a call. I have
a
a call to action for our fan base.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So if somebody
kill your fathers, marry your mothers.
Yeah, there you go.
No matter what your age is, use that at your next birthday.
That's right.
If everybody will go to springfield.co.uk and go to the King of the Hill thing, and get every line of Boomhauer dialogue on a Friday episode, I will read every line of his dialogue fast as I can.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
I'll read all of it as fast as I can.
Okay, so important distinction here. There's a couple episodes. I think actually just one when they're the firefighters.
Yeah.
And he's playing
Everybody
what happens in his head, and everyone
like
else talks like that. So would you have to talk normal in those Boomhauer lines?
No.
I'm trying to read my car magazine.
You're good then. So I specifically want
I've been
the
on
mumble
the same
speak.
sentence.
I want the mumble
10
speak.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of
That's
the mumble
better.
speak.
I think that's better.
There
That'd
you
be
go.
great.
I want all of his mumble speak.
This is a fun little anecdote about me and also at Waco. I used to work at Waco Tours.
All right, Peggy, slow down a little bit.
Thank you. The van tours that go around Waco, we
Yeah.
go by the Texas Ranger Museum,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
would always drop a Boomhauer reference every time.
Did y'all talk about how the
Wasn't
first?
enough.
Did y'all talk
There you
about
go.
First Street and all that stuff right around there?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'm saying.
This is
I
like
want
a
to
year
go
and a
on
half
one of
ago.
these Waco tours and see how much
like, I don't
real
fucking
Waco
know, man.
history there is.
I will say it is
I know a
really,
lot,
people would
yeah.
get mad because they think it would be a fixer-upper tour.
Yeah.
And it's not. We
Yeah.
go
No,
by
it's not
some
at all.
fixer-upper houses.
Yeah.
We go by the original shop. But it is
Well,
Waco. So
Was
it's
this Waco Tours?
Yeah, it's
go to-
barely even Baylor.
To go to some of those fixer-up homes, you're gonna need a gun.
Yeah.
Some of those homes
There's one
are in
by
some
where I live,
sketchy
and,
neighborhoods.
And you would need a gun there.
Yeah.
So-
I've only gotten carjacked once in my neighborhood. So
There you go. Only once.
Yeah,
You
That's
made it.
great.
once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it averages. I mean, that's good. Anyway, he's very slick with these girls. The girl comes in and she kisses Bobby on the cheeks. Happy birthday, Bobby. He goes, have you seen the girls, Joseph? Hey, Alexis. Hey, Stacy. And the girls just kind of run off giggling. Joseph looks very uncomfortable because he's a sweaty, pubic-having mess now. Now we're in the garage. Hank is shining up the coffins. So now he's polishing these suckers. Peggy comes in and goes, oh, Hank, I have carried in Bobby's birthday cake for every one of his birthdays. I am the Cal Ripken of birthday cakes. What a great reference.
banger line.
I like that one. Yeah.
She goes, now look at me, banished to the garage while Bobby's party goes on without me for a decent mixtape. Like she's a DJ now.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a DJ now.
She has
yeah.
to think DJ.
She
Yeah.
knows all the decent mixtapes.
Right.
Hank,
Like
Hank,
Young Jeezy.
Hank, always being Hank. Hey, let's start a new tradition for Bobby's birthday. Why don't you say you and me cut loose? And he tries to hand her an Alamo beer. He goes, and I ordered pizza. And then she kind of gives him a smile, takes the beer. He goes, come on, I want to show you something. And he opens the coffin and he goes, feel that. And she feels it. She goes, oh, it's so plush. He goes, well, it better be silk stuff with Canadian goose down. See, I made yours better than mine. Mine's just fiber fill left over from when we insulated the attic. And then, as every good husband does, he helps her get into the coffin that he's just built. And she goes, oh, Hank, it's like sleeping on a marshmallow.
You're going to love that one day, Peggy. You really are.
All right, so now we're back inside at Bobby's party. Everybody's dancing. Joseph is over on the side as kind of a wallflower. Bobby sees him over there and goes, come on, Jay, help me bust a move. And then that gets him to come over and try to dance, and he's very awkward. He flails around a bit, and then he smacks a girl in the face, knocks her glasses off. Sorry, I just saw her. And then he goes down to pick up her glasses. He looks up, and he's trying to catch a glimpse under her dress, I guess, or something. It's very, and she's like, what are you staring at, weirdo? And he freaks out and runs off.
Which, to be fair, stupid question.
Oh, sure.
You know what he's staring at.
Yeah. Well, here in a
It
second
shouldn't
we
be
find
happening,
out too. Yeah. And so he goes, he runs out. Bobby kind of goes after him and says, where are you going? I totally hooked you up with Charisse. Why didn't you pull out the moves on her? He goes, I don't have any moves, Bobby. He goes, okay. I like working with a clean slate. Come learn some moves from the master. The master,
Bobby Hill. Yeah.
Get
the
ready for a
of
master
Riz.
class.
That's
really,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Riz
Bobby Hill's
God.
master class. Now, we're now in Bobby's room.
I would trust Bobby, by the way. If I were Joseph, I would trust Bobby talking to any girl I liked.
Well, it's obvious that Joseph sees him as like a
He's
ladies'
a Riz
man.
guy. Yeah, he's a Riz guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he is.
I've
He
had that
really
in the
is.
past in the thought process, typically when I was drunk. But like some of my college friends, I'm like, well, this guy's going bald.
Yeah.
but he's pulling.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have him reach out. Like, so
It's
I would have
confidence.
absolutely done that as a kid.
It's always confidence, right? That's the
Confidence is always key. That's
that's
why.
the aphrodisiac.
That's like Bobby's whole thing is that he is always unapologetically Bobby. He
Yes.
doesn't ever try to
It's true.
be anybody
He's
else.
authentic, man.
And the one episode he did, it was that one episode where he got used by that girl, the older girl or
yeah.
whatever.
That's right.
and-
Kissing on the couch?
Kissing on the couch.
Yeah.
That was like the only episode where Bobby was lacking on the Riz game.
That's true.
Every
Which is
other
also the-
episode, he's usually because that was his like one simp episode, and the rest of them he's just so smooth because he's confident.
Is
Love
that
these.
the same episode as What Are You Talking About?
I think it's one
Yeah,
of them.
it is because he's
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there
'cause he's
crying.
impressing
the
What
girls.
are you
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about? He starts
Yeah.
crying while
Yeah,
he's
that's
doing
right.
it. Yeah. What are you
That is a
talking
good-
about?
What are you talking about?
All right, so we are now in Bobby's room. He's trying to get Joseph back up and going, and they've got the giant 6-foot sub. He's cutting it into pieces. He goes, as promised, I present to you the VIP sub.
The VIP sub.
And he hands a
damn.
piece to Joseph, hands a piece to Connie. That sounds pretty good, damn good right now, though, like a big 6-foot sub.
Yeah.
I
Subway starting next month will have foot-long cookies.
I don't want a foot-long
What?
cookie.
Wait, what?
I'm going to go buy one
Why
just
do you want a
for
foot-long
for
cookie?
posterity.
I guarantee you that it's not going to be a foot-long cookie.
You think
I
it's gonna
bet
be
it's
a-
several cookies in a
foot-long
foot-long
tub?
container.
You know what I think it's going to be? An actual foot-long cookie.
Well,
They've already showed the
You
like,
dreamer,
screens of
you.
them.
God bless you, but I
They've
don't think the
showed-
science is there yet.
They've showed the screeners or whatever of
The
it.
screeners.
They've had some.
They're sending out trailers of these things.
First time I
Yeah,
tried to make
underground
cookies by
snack
myself, it was basically a
blogs.
foot-long
Sure,
cookie. So
sure.
Yeah, well, if you've
I-
got
it
a if
could
you've
be
got
done,
a
maybe.
if
Well,
you
your
have a
globs all go
12-inch
together, right?
yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, if you have a 12-inch cooking sheet and you just put a glob of it, yeah, you could make one big foot-long cookie
Who are you, Mr. Money, with a 12-foot cooking sheet
or a
whatever?
12-inch.
12-inch cooking sheet. I'm so sorry. I thought you said
1
12
foot, 12-inch. Yeah.
By the way,
That's a big cooking
humongous.
sheet. 12 foot.
Yeah.
The oven you would need for that.
it's a big one. So, just a quick story. My wife and I, we got a once a year. I'll go get a Sam's membership because it's cheap.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
$20.
Yeah.
All right, $20. They have a sale once a year. I get it for $20. So we thought, okay, now's the time to go get it because we can buy some gifts and crap, and who doesn't need a metric ton of?
It's very adult of you.
yeah.
everybody
I mean,
does.
who doesn't
Very
need a
adult.
metric ton of chocolate-covered raisins? you
We
know?
all do.
And so we go in there, and one of the things we do is when we cook bacon, we put it on a cookie sheet now, right? But we have a little grid that we put it on so that all the stuff drops into the cookie sheet. It cooks very well, very evenly. It gets crispy, all of that stuff. But my issue with it is a normal cooking sheet only holds about 3/4 of a pound of bacon.
Yeah.
And so we go to Sam's, and I'm very excited because there's this giant pan with this grid on it that's already ready. And I'm just thinking, dear God, I can put an entire pound of bacon on this thing and cook it at once, right? Yeah. So I get it home, I fill it full of bacon, and it does. It holds the entire pound of bacon. Guess what it doesn't do? It doesn't fit in my oven. So I can't cook my damn bacon.
Oh, man.
What do you do with
Does
a
it
giant cookie sheet now?
Does it fit on the grill?
I don't know. I haven't tried that yet.
If it'll fit on the grill, you could just grill. You could.
I did have the-
essentially smoke your bacon on the grill.
I did
guess.
have the thought the other day.
Apple would smoke them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same to you. I did have the thought the other day.
And with
that,
your spirit.
That one of the, and with you. I did have the thought the other day that, you know what I didn't do? I didn't try turning it and going in the other way. Made me feel very stupid. Yeah. So I don't know if it fits or not, but I'll find out when I get home.
That's
Well,
like that
if it-
commercial. Have you seen that commercial now where there's just some lady telling everybody what will and will not fit?
In what?
It's
I don't
like
see
it's
in
a
her?
bunch of scenarios.
I honestly don't see
You
commercials.
devil, you. It's like one's in the oven, like a turkey going to the oven. One's like putting a TV in the back of a car, and she's just like stopping around telling
It's like a
people.
Geico thing.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
totally not related at
Yeah.
all. But then it's like,
Because she's very good at figuring out.
I think
whether
it's like a Volvo or something. Now that I
Something
think
like
about it,
that,
because
yeah.
then the car fits in the garage.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
haven't
well,
seen a
I was like, someone
commercial.
went to college for that
Yeah.
to make
I
that
haven't
dumb
seen
commercial.
an actual commercial in probably like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
You lucky
You should
bastard.
catch up.
I
They're
avoid.
wonderful.
I avoid
Liberty-
as
so-
many commercials as
Liberty
I possibly
Bibbity.
can.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm a guy who's in for limited government, not Ruby Ridge type, but limited government.
Yeah.
I think there should be a government agency that should be telling Liberty Mutual to stop fucking making commercials.
Oh, they crank
They're
them
so
out.
terrible, man.
They
They've
do
never
crank
been
them out.
funny.
You know who's
They
got?
are
And they're
funny.
just like, guys, people love them.
Yeah.
I
We
really
gotta
like
keep
the
doing
general.
the emu. We gotta keep doing
It's
the
just
dumb
that
guys.
one guy, like the
General's
guy who.
great, man.
It's like
I really
the
like the
guy.
general.
In fact, the General, weirdly enough, is such a formative thing for me watching King of the Hill. Because when I would come home from
was the
school as a
General
kid, it was on
commercials.
FX in the afternoon, and it was that Malcolm in the Middle, and it would just be littered with fucking
It would be
Shaq
like
the
and
General,
Shaq and the
commercials.
Generals.
and
Yeah, they linked up. Yeah.
J.G. Wentworth, like the singing.
I want my
like,
money now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
the-
that's just as much King of the Hill
the
to me
Shaq,
as Texas is.
the Shaq General story is actually kind of funny because the only reason they did a partnership is because Shaq used the General for a long time because they had
so funny.
such cheap insurance.
Yeah.
He didn't go and get crazy, like he understood to
He's
live
a hell of a
frugally.
businessman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
unbelievable.
Well,
He
He's the best.
he has a literal doctorate that he earned,
Yeah.
so he probably has a good
he's a
sense
cop,
of
too.
different things. Yeah,
Remember that time he was a cop in
yeah,
Miami?
he was like
Yes.
a cop and everything. But
So goofy.
he
If
used
you
their
reach a
insurance for all
certain
that time.
point in sports, people just let you do whatever the hell you want.
Pretty much.
No, just
Oh,
put that
like,
gun in the strap
like,
of your sweatpants. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
We're going to a strip club. That's what everybody
yeah,
does.
Plaxico.
Or
yeah.
or what's his name?
Shaq
Just
is basically
selling the
Bobby Hill and
Mavs.
Joseph put together.
He kind of is, yeah.
Like he's tall, he's hit puberty.
He's
I
like if-
think,
if
as far
Bobby
as I
Hill
can tell,
shot up.
but he's got
Yeah.
the riz and the authenticity of a
I don't
Bobby
know.
Hill.
I always think that Bobby Hill is like what's his name? Owner of the Mavs.
Mark
Oh,
Cuban.
Mark Cuban?
I think he's like a young Mark Cuban. I think that's what Mark Cuban
Really?
was like when he was a young boy.
I think Mark Cuban was stepped on by a lot of people, and now he's just taking out his vengeance on everyone.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
Seen
sold.
Shark
What was
Tank?
it?
I think he was pushed around a lot.
He paid
Yeah.
$250 for it and sold it for $3.5, and he didn't
Yeah.
even sell the whole thing. He just sold.
Well, nobody retains the
share.
rights to run a place after you sell it.
No.
I mean, it's genius.
That is
Yep.
genius.
if you can get away with it.
And he got
But
away with it.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think one of two things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Either we do get gambling here because of him,
Yeah.
but what I think is way more likely is that the Mavs move to Las Vegas.
You think so?
really think so?
Yeah. Yeah. How badly do they want an NBA team
I
there?
mean, absolutely.
They got hockey,
The
they
NBA
got
will do
football.
They
got
want one
everything.
to get them
really
there.
bad.
Yeah.
Who
It's
else
the-
is going there? There's another team that's moving to
The
LA,
A's.
right?
The
Or Las
A's, yep.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is-
I wouldn't be surprised
Days.
if they proposed like doing the finals just in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
they would go that far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they don't
And it
get
would,
a team.
it
yeah.
would work like a charm.
I'm
Oh, it would.
surprised.
Yeah.
Whatever they do works. So
Yeah, that's true.
Do they have a Super Bowl
Mavs.
there yet? They haven't had a Super Bowl
this year.
No, this year.
Oh, this is the
Yeah.
first. Okay,
Yeah.
so I bet you they probably lobbied for it too for years
amazes,
to get
yeah.
that. Yeah.
What amazes me is how hard they're leaning on gambling at this point. You remember when it was verboten
Nobody.
everywhere.
Everything
Yeah.
was. Yeah. It was.
Pete
Have
Rose. Pete Rose has to be the most pissed off man in the country at
Oh
this point.
yeah, a lot of them are probably pissed
Yeah.
off. Imagine how pissed Michael Jordan probably is at how everybody
Right,
supports
yeah.
gambling now.
There's a Reggie Jackson documentary, I believe, on Netflix now or Amazon, one or the other.
Yeah.
And they talk about his time, in the league and all that stuff. He was paid $20,000 a year. That is insanity.
Do you think that Michael
And was like
Jordan?
ridiculed for
Yes.
going to the Yankees
Yes.
to make
Absolutely.
60. You know what I
Absolutely.
do you think that
mean?
Michael Jordan ever bet on himself?
Oh, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Michael Jordan's bet on everything.
Yeah, he bet.
Yeah.
I
Lawrence
saw
Taylor,
this one thing
Yeah.
where they were flipping a coin, and like somebody walked past him and was like, "Oh yeah, I'll bet you is $20." All right, and he like pulls out a coin and bets on just the coin flip.
man.
You know who we asked? We asked Pete. Do you know Pete Sousa?
Oh yeah, Pete.
Yes.
So
I'm a
Pete
Pete
worked.
Sousa fan.
Pete
Yeah,
worked in
works
the
here.
front
Yeah.
office at the Charlotte Bobcats.
Yes. Yeah.
We
One of the
may or may
PR
not
guys.
be doing a little series on that first year of the Charlotte Bobcats.
Really?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I would.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
good
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
Sicko,
Yeah, it's good
anything
stuff.
Charlotte Bobcats
Yeah.
and their illustrious history is perfect for me.
Yeah. Okay, so
Must be.
we're in Bobby's room. All of that to say, we're in Bobby's room. He's cutting up the sub. He's giving them to people. He says, "Hey, here's the VIP sub." He hands it to Connie and he goes, "Hey, your hands are really soft." And she goes, "I have a new soap." He says, "Well, you must be using it on your face too because your skin is beautiful." She goes, "What are you talking about? My face is all broken out." He goes, "Hey, did you kiss me today?" And then he like leans in. She's like, "What? What?" He goes, "Enjoy." Like as he goes in for a kiss.
Yeah.
She's like, "Bobby, Joseph is right here." And Joseph is literally just sitting there eating the sub
Leaning
with
in,
his
yeah.
eyes wide open, just watching what's going on. It's like the popcorn thing, the gif of the popcorn guy. And so he is just creepily watching, and she goes, "Bobby, Joseph's right here." And he goes, "So maybe he'll learn something." Jesus, Bobby, you got so
Taking
much
him
confidence.
under his wing. This
He's
is what
got
it looks
so much
like.
confidence. He goes, Bobby, did you just do this so Joseph could watch? You're such a creep, Connie says. He goes, oops, time of the month. Damn, Bobby. You got to remember that when he says stuff like that, you have to remember that Peggy is his mother.
Yes.
Right? And so that has bled into him quite a bit. Connie, she goes, hey, don't blame you being a jerk on my, which I'm not about to talk to either, but which I'm not even having anyway because of track. And she storms off. And then my favorite part of this exchange is Dooley and a girl come out of the closet, and Dooley just says, Joseph likes to watch. And that's
man.
I just love Dooley.
I needed more
Dooley's
Dooley
my
and Clark Peters in this episode, man. Those were the best.
They're funny.
Joseph likes to
I wish they got their
Joseph
own
likes to
episodes.
watch.
It'd be funny just have them two. Have just a show where it's just Stewart and Clark, like Stewart and Clark.
Yeah, man.
Maybe they're running something in
like
the
a
middle.
Beavis and Butthead type break
this
off.
This is Mike Judge's next iteration of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Those two.
That's true.
The best hairstyle ever.
So
Clark
now
Peters.
we're at Clark Peters with the little
I
little
can't
nub.
tell you, man. The first time I saw that, like on the rewatch I did a few years ago, so like not when I was a kid, I was a little high when I was watching it.
I got you.
And I saw it.
High on life.
I just couldn't stop, man. I had to pause it like 5 straight minutes, wheezing, laughing. It's
Did you ever know a guy with that hairdo?
No.
See,
I think
I
I was
did.
maybe
Usually
too young
guys
for
with
it.
that hairdos are probably jackasses. I would assume that
Well,
you're probably.
he is kind of a jackass.
That is a little bit of a sweeping.
Let's just say like this:
Mike
I've
had
never
one. He
met.
doesn't-
I've
he doesn't
never.
want to admit it.
Let me take my hat off.
I've never met a guy with a haircut like that wasn't an asshole.
Well, there is something to that haircut, I would imagine. It's like I want a mullet, but I want something more badass than a mullet.
Yeah.
You know, it's that same kind of.
I don't want to be too mainstream. I don't want to be a mullet guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, where's my Slipknot album?
Yeah, that always makes me think of like the context the King of the Hill was in. Like Peggy Hill's talking about cutting records, and I'm like, damn, probably banging Nelly and like Stankonia.
Speaking of Nelly,
Speaking
of Nelly, big day today.
Right now, actually.
I want to give a call out to Sikkim 365, and I don't know how you get along
Fine,
with those
do
folks
it.
or
Go
whatever.
ahead.
But
it's halftime right now as we're talking about
the other day, they were talking about this halftime show. First ever halftime show at the Big 12 Championship, right? And Nelly is the featured artist.
Nelly is the featured artist. So, that shows you the age group of the people that watch the Big 12 championships.
It shows you how much money they actually have available.
Right. Or,
so they hired Nelly. And then
probably a couple $100 bills and maybe a meal voucher.
Tickets, he gets a 6-foot sub.
Yeah.
So
I love Nelly.
They're talking about.
Me too, actually.
Do you?
Oh
love
yeah,
Nelly?
yeah.
Oh, when I was growing up, that's like the rap music that was like
I don't think I've ever heard that
super
phrase.
popular.
I
I love Nelly.
It was
man.
like
yeah.
DMX, Nelly. Like it was like that. It's just that era of music.
I have like such a weird. So I'm the youngest of 5 siblings.
Oh, okay.
So all my music taste is just a little bit older than what it should be.
Yeah.
Like I was alive for Nelly, but I
guess
was
you're
like
right, yeah.
probably 5 when like he was at his peak. I don't know. So like all of my music taste is just a little bit more advanced, if you will, on the timeline. Like I can't tell you from anything from when I was in high school, but.
So like first grade, you're singing, I'm going to take off all my clothes.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah. And in fact, at that very stadium at AT&T, at a Baylor game my freshman year, I saw just not performing a guy walking by, and I was like, that looks a lot like Andre 3000. Baylor Texas Tech football game.
Yeah.
Andre 3000.
Wow.
They show him on the sideline in the next time out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Why would he?
I was like
what
starstruck.
kind of like?
You think
what?
he had to work up?
No idea.
You think he had to work up
No
to
idea.
3,000? Like, was he 1,500 when he was a kid?
You got to, right?
Yeah.
I think he was born 3000.
That first
He
time-
is him
3,000,
though.
wow.
Well, I was gonna say if he wasn't,
His
by
poor
that
mother.
first Outcast album is great, so he's probably 3,000 worth at that.
This
point.
this instrumental album he just put out broke the record for the
longest instrumental
the
album.
longest not longest instrumental album, the longest song ever. One of his the first song on the album.
Longer than a Grateful Dead song?
Oh, jeez.
Well, Grateful Dead never broke the Billboard Top 100. I don't think.
No, they did. Yeah,
Did
with
not
Touch of
long
Grey.
songs.
Touch of
though.
Grey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not their long songs, but yeah, he it's like a 12 or 13-minute song, and it's like in the
Sheesh.
top 100.
So we are. Let me finish my thing about 365.
sorry.
So no, you're
Way
good. You're
off
good. So they mentioned the halftime show with Nelly, and one of the guys says, "Okay, Paul, name 5 top Nelly songs." And of course, the first one is "It's Getting Hot in Here."
Yeah.
And then they start talking about it, and they talk about it, and I couldn't name any.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah,
St. Louis is a good song. That's really
okay,
good.
great.
Country Grammar, Ride With Me.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Anyway, they're talking about it for a while, and you can tell that Paul is obviously like he's done talking about this, right? They're waiting for a caller to come on, so they're filling.
Okay.
And he goes, yeah. It's going to be great. If you've ever wondered what It's Hot in Here sounds like backed up with a bunch of tubas, this is your chance.
That's a good line.
It's a great line.
Good line, Paul.
It made me
That's a
laugh.
good one.
It literally made me laugh out loud. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so now we hear a knock at Khan's door, and from the inside, and Min comes and opens the door. I'm sorry, Khan comes and opens the door. He goes, use doorbell, you idiot. Connie, it's for you. He opens the door, and Joseph is just standing there like a freaking creeper, just staring into the door. And you hear Connie from the back say, it's Bobby, slam the door in his face. Khan says, I wish I would so I could, but it's Jolly Gribble Giant. Jolly Gribble Giant.
Jolly Gribble Giant. Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah, he takes to American humor pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's implied he has just moved within the last 10 or 12 years to the U.S.
Yeah.
So he takes to it pretty quick.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah. He's good.
I'm sure he would probably be one of many celebrating Kissinger's death.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So he goes, Jolly Gribble Giant. Connie comes in and she goes, what is it now? Did you come here to watch me do my homework? Which is not beyond the pale.
That's funny, though. That's a good line, too.
Joseph is like, I just wanted to say it's all my fault. I mean, Bobby did help me because I'm I'm not good with girls. She says, oh, you can't be any worse than Bobby. The way he tried to kiss me in front of you, well, you were there. He goes, anyways, I'm sorry. So see you, bye. And he turns around, he hits his head on the light, and he goes, idiot. She goes, no, you're not. I don't think you're an idiot. And then you get like this big tension between them, like stare into the eyes, something's going to happen. Next thing we see is Bobby coming around the corner. You know how he always goes to her window. He's coming around the corner, and he's carrying a piece of cake. He's obviously taking it to Connie, and he's talking to himself. Connie, I rehearsed an apology, but I'm going to throw it away because nothing says I'm sorry like I'm sorry. Connie, I rehearsed an apology. And then he walks to the window, and he sees them kissing, and he freaks out, drops the cake, and that is our second commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure, for sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those too also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hola, yo soy Jackie.
Y yo soy Jessica.
Y esto es Zona del Crimen. Un podcast donde hablaremos sobre casos de crímenes reales
y eventos impactantes que han quedado marcados a través del tiempo. Recuerden que nos pueden seguir en Facebook, Instagram
o donde escuches tus podcasts favoritos.
All right, and we are back from our second commercial break. We are still at Connie's window. Bobby is obviously pissed off. He tries to crawl in Connie's window after he sees them kissing. He can't quite get his ass up over the windowsill.
We've all been there.
Yeah, Joseph pulls him in. He falls on the floor, and he's like, "Bobby, are you okay?" And he literally gets up, and I never thought I would see this, but Bobby just clocks him. I mean, just punches him as hard as he can. And Connie's
deservedly
like,
so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is like, it kind of gets brushed away, but I know they're 13, but should just cheat on them. They are boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's true.
Anyway.
Yeah. She goes,
infidelity is infidelity.
It is at any age.
At any age.
Yeah.
Seeing your best friend
Ask
kiss
Tilly.
it might even hurt worse at 13 seeing your best friend kiss your girlfriend than it would at 33.
That's true. That's true.
At 33, you're like, whatever.
At 33, you're filming it.
Yeah, take her. Yeah.
So she goes, Bobby. He goes, if my hand didn't hurt so much, I'd do it again. He says, what the hell? She says, stop it. And he punches him again. Bobby, right in the face. I mean, Bobby, look at you go. Joseph's like, I'm bleeding. Min comes to the door. You like my Joseph voice?
I do.
Nice,
I do.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's nailed on.
Yeah. Min comes to the door. She goes, oh, look at you. You grow like bamboo. Hey, what happened to your nose? Bobby's like, I took care of business. Me and my hammer. My hammer. She goes over and she's gonna fix up Joseph. She goes, we better get some ice on that before you bleed all over the hand loom kiln, which I guess it's a rug, I'm assuming.
Sure.
So she takes Joseph away. Bobby is nuts at this point, and he's like, what were you doing, Connie? Connie's like, I don't know.
Kill 'em is a rug.
There we go.
It is a flat woven pileless rug or tapestry. It is of Turkish origin.
Yeah. So that's good to know. Connie says, I don't know. I think you better calm down. He goes, how can I calm down? You were kissing Joseph. You are not allowed to kiss Joseph. You're not allowed.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
She goes, I can kiss whoever I want, Bobby. He goes, so I guess you're dating Joseph now? Is that it? That is so, I can remember that at 13, just you take those wild swings. You're just like, oh, well, fuck her, or whatever.
I still use those today, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
My girlfriend sat next to a guy on the plane yesterday. And I was like,
yeah. You had to be
bigger
grounded.
than me? Like,
sure.
Yeah.
So he goes, I guess you're dating Joseph now? She goes, well, maybe I wanted to kiss a guy with a mustache. Oh, mustache.
Love that.
And she goes, and maybe I didn't want to wait for you. He goes, what? I made you. You were just, this is shitty, Bobby.
This is Peggy right
He
here.
goes, yeah, you were just a dumb A student until I hit the scene. Well, why would you? And that does it. I'm breaking up with you. And he tries to crawl out the window. His ass falls out. And he's crawling over the fence, and she shuts her window, and she goes, you blew it. And she just says, jerk, and she just shuts the window. Now we're in the bathroom with Joseph. He's sitting on the toilet while Min is trying to clean up the blood on him. She goes, that little hillbilly packed quite a wallop. You want some naproxen? Naproxen. Calls it naproxen.
And what 13-year-old is going to be like, sure.
Yeah, I'd love some naproxen. Thank you so much. He goes, no, I'm okay. And then she's bending down, kind of getting his nose, and he is looking square down her shirt.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right down her shirt. She goes, how did tall, dark, and handsome get butt kicked by short, fat, and redneck? And then Joseph takes this opportunity, because it's the perfect time, to kiss Min square on the lips. And
elephant in the room.
Yeah.
When it comes to animated characters.
Yeah.
Min's hot.
She is hot.
Min is hot.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's got that attitude.
Yeah, it is. If you're going through the hormone monster.
Yeah. Well, even on this,
without sin cast the first stone.
On this show, it's Luann then her.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think. You got to think about the neighborhood
too.
Nancy Hicks Gribble is also good.
Nancy's
I
right
think
in there.
Min might be
I think Min is hotter than Nancy.
Yeah, you got to think about
the one that's not hot, to be honest.
Yeah. You also got to think about the time frame in the neighborhood. So this is like in the 90s, 2000s, and she's an Asian woman in the neighborhood. So she is an exotic, beautiful, and considered exotic in this time frame inside this neighborhood.
That kind of bitey, punchy, right?
She has that. She's got that attitude. That's what would attract me. Thank you, honey. So he kisses her. She's like, Joseph, what's going on? She goes, oh, you so cute. Con's gonna get a big kick out of this.
She's
like,
great.
Stupid
that's
kid.
the perfect scenario, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't gonna sleep with her, but she doesn't get mad.
Connie sees it. She goes, Joseph, how could you? And she just runs off. And then Joseph, trying to back out of this, sorry, I just thought you liked me. What? She goes, oh, yeah, you rock my world.
Min's a great character.
Such a great thing to say. He runs off. Then we go over to the garage where Hank and Peggy are in the coffins. And Joseph runs by and he sees them. I mean, everything is happening to Joseph all of a sudden. He's like, I tried to kiss this woman. I got punched by my friend. Now I see his parents in freaking coffins in the garage.
Sit up. It's like that scene in The Shining where the cosplay guy, the bear, and the butler in the room just randomly. That's what it makes me think of in a TV show is that.
And so he sees that. He runs off. He doesn't know what the hell to think. And Peggy's like, oh, something at the party must have upset Joseph. and we see that they're in the coffins, but they've got pizza, they got chips, they got beer, they got champagne sitting in these damn coffins.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
You got it. Hank's like, it's an awkward age with that acne and whatnot. Good take on that, Hank. Good job.
Yeah.
She goes, you think I should get out of my coffin and see what's going on? He goes, over my dead body. I'm sure they're fine. Pass the chips. I mean, that tracks for Hank. That's
about right
for Hank. Joseph runs into his house. He goes past Dale, who always seems to be sitting in the dark watching TV, which hits a little hard as far as I'm concerned. No pants, TV on, 2 a.m., just staring blindly at whatever's on.
I mean, yeah,
That's
reason
me.
for the season.
Yeah, that is me.
Also fear of his life, of course. That
Sure.
Joseph could snap at any minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Joseph comes running in, and of course, Dale, being completely self-aware, hey, Joseph, how's the weather up there? Joseph's like, that is it. He runs outside. He gets in the Bugabago.
Yeah.
Bugabago. We got in trouble one time for not calling it a Bugabago.
As you should have.
One of the fans.
I'm glad there's an abundsman out there.
Yeah, we were calling it like a bug vehicle. Like we called it everything, like a bug van. We called it everything but what it was
Dale's
supposed to be.
dead bug van. Yeah.
And people were
But
like,
it's a
no,
Bugabago.
that's not
I
what
mean,
it's
yeah,
called.
you
It's
guys
called
were
the
not
Bugabago.
wrong, but it's
Yeah,
the
sure.
Bugabago.
No, I want to be accurate.
Yeah, for continuity.
That's what all those reenactments of the Civil War are about.
Sure.
So Bobby is now depressed, but he's at his party. He's kind of sitting over in the corner. And Connie,
Party's still going on.
The party
which
is still
incredible.
raging.
That's the most surprising
Big
part
time
of this
party.
episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For a kid's party,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
No
he had
alcohol,
this.
potentially.
Hey,
I don't know.
remember when Bobby's
Potentially.
on the scene, it's going to be a party.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
When he
Like,
pops
is
on the
party
scene,
and
he
he's
is the
gone,
A-lister.
man. Yeah.
He's a man.
Remember, you're nothing but a dumb A student when Bobby's
So
around.
she comes over.
Dumbass.
She comes back over to the
Yeah.
party, and she's walking up to Bobby because she's apologizing to him, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He goes, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "I came to apologize and make out with tongues." He goes, "I don't know where your tongue's been." Oh wait, yes, I
Is
do.
that not the best thing that a woman could say to you, though?
Make out with tongues?
Yeah, it sucks that he does know
Well,
where
I can
the
think
tongue
of
has
one
been,
more
but
thing that'd be a little better, but sure.
At the age of 13,
At
is there
13,
anything better?
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Yeah, I would always. 13 is the time that I would be worried about getting caught on like braces and things like that, though.
For sure.
That's a cut up tongue just waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
He says, I don't know where your tongue's been. Oh, wait, yes, I do. She says, I didn't mean to kiss Joseph. It's just he was so sad and tall. I mean, those are the two qualities you're looking for.
Yeah.
And he goes, and you're so loose and cheap. What the fuck, Bobby?
Bobby! See,
And-
where'd you hear that one from? Cotton?
Oh, it's got to be.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either a cotton or a buck line. Yeah, he just
Cotton
spent
says that to his wife.
in the
of
last
course, but-
episode. He just spent like 3 weeks working
That's
for
true.
bucks.
Yeah, with
so
buck. Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
he might have got
Yeah.
that buck, that leftover buck.
Still got
yeah.
some buck rubbing
Surprisingly, when he calls Connie loose and cheap, she runs off, and he runs after her. Connie, wait. And she runs outside. She sees, she starts running out. She almost gets hit by the Bugabago that Joseph is sort of driving.
Somehow knows how to drive,
It's like,
kind of.
Yeah. He looks over and he goes, "Hey, where are you going?" Or she says, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going as far as 1/8 of a tank of gas will get me."
Yeah.
Which is pretty far, I guess. And she goes, take me with you. And he opens the door. She climbs in. Then comes Bobby, and he jumps in before she's able to close the door. And he's like, "What are you doing with my woman?" Connie's like, "I'm not your property." Joseph, "Leave us alone." He's trying to drive off or whatever, and Bobby's like, he knows he's fucked up here, and he said, I said I was sorry. Let's do tongues now." They're all in the van. There's so much going on, and Joseph looks over and he goes, "You gonna French?" I mean, because he wants to watch it again,
yeah.
right? And Connie's like, "No way." He goes, "You said," and then the worst happens. The Bugabago runs right into a light pole. And so, I mean, this is bad news, right?
Very
I mean,
bad news.
somebody's
A
gonna
bunch of
kill.
13-year-olds stealing somebody's van.
Yeah, and I think they went about 12 feet, but yeah, they hit a light pole.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of passage of time. The kids get out and they look at they surveying the damage. Then the entire neighborhood starts to turn out around the light pole. You know, they're all watching to see what's going on. And here comes Dale running up. "Oh no, my Bugabago! What evil hath been wrought to befall this upon me? Who did this?"
God, I love Dale.
And Hank's standing there. He's like, I don't know, Dale. He goes, was it you? And he points at this old elderly lady in a walker. And he goes, let me, I want to. And Hank's having to hold him back, which doesn't take much force.
Not at all.
And Hank's like, calm down, Dale.
You could hold him back with a plastic spoon.
He says, maybe one of these kids saw something. Bobby, did you see who did this? And Bobby looks at both of Connie and Joseph, and they're still friends ultimately. And he goes,
smooth as butter. As smooth as butter.
He goes, yeah, it's probably teenagers.
Yeah.
And she,
one of them anyway.
Joseph's like, yep, teenagers. Connie's teenagers. And then Dale, he's like, damn, teenagers. And he goes over to the old woman on the walker, and he goes, I guess you're off the hook, but don't leave town.
Don't leave town, old lady.
He still got her.
Town.
Then we get the ultimate in shitty Peggy. She comes running out with the birthday cake because she's going to fulfill this fantasy of hers of giving the birthday cake every single time. Who wants birthday cake? Yes! 13 for 13. In your face, boy. Pointing at Bobby, her own son. Hey, Bobby, it's your birthday. That's right. I served you cake. I'm Peggy. Pull your leggy. Oh, Bobby, let's say what? And she's like doing this freaking...
She was freestyling.
She was freestyling.
I think she was ready for a rap battle.
And then she ends up with, I'm all that. I'm Peggy. Get funky. And then she gives him one of those cross arms.
Yeah, Peggy, future winner of King of the Dot.
And that is it. That's how it ends with a dead Bugabago and Peggy getting what she wants, and I guess them being friends again.
Joseph figures out puberty.
Yeah.
And
that's a good
I guess they get back together.
I
don't know.
Figure out anything.
Yeah, not really.
Lesson served hard, but by the next episode, he knows what puberty is.
We get the credit. We get the credits.
He's always creepy, to be fair. He remains creepy.
And then after the credits, we get the line. What do you think it is?
I wasn't paying attention enough. Oh boy, I'm trying to think. Bugabago, upholstery. I know this isn't going to be it, but on principle, I'm going to go with my favorite line.
Yeah.
Joseph likes to watch.
Nope, that's not it.
Damn, I knew
it
that
is
would
Dale
be it.
once again.
My Bugabago.
Nope. Jennifer, we're fantastic. That's it.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Jennifer,
it's
we're
like
fantastic.
it's like the second tier line
That's right.
from Dale.
Yeah.
But the delivery's always great, of course, with Dale.
It's always something that means nothing.
Right.
You know, it's
right.
My favorite of the Cottons.
Or you know what?
I like
what would have been my
Cottons,
best realistic guess would have been what does Bobby say when he's about to kiss her? Like congratulations or you're welcome.
He says,
or,
he says
enjoy.
Yeah,
enjoy.
He says enjoy.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and watching. If
Appreciate
you're
it.
watching, I'm sorry. Cam, thank you very much for being our special guest.
This is like a dream come true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Well, welcome anytime.
Don't you dare say that. I'll be in here.
Please, anytime you want.
Because I've been frantically looking through these season 5s. We've got that great
Yeah.
New York City versus Alamo
That's
one
true.
coming up.
Yeah, that one's coming up.
That's one of my favorites. I was so bummed. Obviously, this is not anyone's fault. It's mine. But when we had first talked about it coming on the show, you guys had just done my favorite one when they go to Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
A beer can named Desire.
Everybody gets the vapors.
Gilbert is probably my favorite character in the history of the show. Let me poke around my old Schifferold.
Yeah, my old Schifferold.
Gilbert.
My old Schifferold. Yeah, I like
Gilbert.
that episode too.
Gilbert.
That's a great one. But anyway,
that's a
I'm
great
so
episode.
thank you guys so much for having me on.
Anytime.
This is
Yeah,
awesome.
anytime. You're welcome
Yeah.
anytime.
Truly awesome.
Maybe next time you come in on a Friday episode where we just ramble.
Yeah.
I love rambling.
Unlike radio, there's no time limits. There's no anything here.
And I can
so
cuss.
You
which
can
is
cuss.
What,
You
as you can
absolutely
tell,
can.
it's more my.
You could say,
my
I
speed.
got
That's the
high
Boston
one
in me.
time.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, you
I
could say that as well.
I did say that once on the radio, and I can't say it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
You got in trouble?
Yeah.
By
the advertiser
By the big
called.
man? Oh, the
Yeah.
advertiser called.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh-wee.
boy.
Yeah,
that's
He's
rough.
like, think about the kids in the car on weekdays from 12 to 2. It's like, you know what? Damn it, you've got a point.
There's not a lot of kids in the car.
There's not a lot of kids.
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
car,
it's not. Yeah, I was just talking about. So we do this all the time, my girlfriend and I, because I hate talking to people.
Yeah.
So we'll stay and just do some edibles and watch like the worst movies ever
Sure.
made.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No, I like to watch
So-
weird movies too. Yeah.
In fact, I thought about doing a podcast about it. but-
What is the worst
be great.
movie?
Oh, we're bad movies.
That you've
A
ever
podcast
seen.
on bad movies. I'd
like,
be cool with
like
that. Yeah,
Fun
I'd do
to
that.
watch bad movies.
Yeah, I would do that.
And I would love
Like
to
if
do
you
that.
had
Oh,
to
shit.
pinpoint one.
My favorite one is
Your favorite bad movie.
Yeah, and this is not a hot take. It's up there with the worst bad movies. Is probably Troll 2.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen Troll 2?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not about trolls and it's
Yeah.
not a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it. It's this rural town with goblins that
Yeah.
are vegetarians but also eat people.
Toilet goblins, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Have you ever seen The Room though? Tommy Wiseau. That's right up there too. We dressed up as a couple's costume of them last year, and we saw it. They did a rerun in theaters for the 20th anniversary a few months ago. So took an edible, went to the movie theater to watch it with people. Fucking fantastic.
It's so crazy
it's
how
so great.
Wiseau became even a thing.
It's unbelievable.
It's just
like,
I don't understand.
Just
how that
completely
happened.
struck gold.
Yeah,
and he's still living off that.
And
basically.
he thinks he's doing the right thing. I mean, he thinks he's doing a good thing. He thinks he's cool.
Oh, Troll 2 if you haven't seen it though.
Yeah, Troll 2 is good. Yeah.
Miami Connection, it's a great one. With
Miami Connection, yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Miami Connection.
I love
that's a great
Troopers.
one.
Yeah.
Miami Connection is a quick one here. They're like these orphan friends who go to college together. You don't find out they're all orphans till like a throwaway line more than an hour into the movie, and they need to fight samurais for some reason. They're big into, I think it's Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And
Taekwondo
it's the Miami
equals samurais.
Right, and it's the Miami Connection, but they all go to UCF, which, as you Big 12 fans will know, is in Orlando.
Yeah.
Hours and hours from Miami. So I'm not sure what the connection is there.
You're just overthinking it. That's all
I typically do.
Florida's Florida.
I love shitty movies, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm a movie snob, and I enjoy the experience of watching a terrible movie while high more than watching a masterpiece.
I get that.
And I like both.
Yeah, I do. I like watching terrible
like
movies.
I like
or even
Well,
sober,
I
I'll watch
too.
some shitty movies.
But I like watching. I like watching bad movies, and I like watching old movies.
You know what? I was just
bad
gonna say,
and old. I like bad and old because a lot of old movies are bad.
Yes.
But by like
are they rusty?
By the current standard, by the current critical standard of movies, a lot of those old movies are good for their era, but they're definitely terrible.
Well, it's good that you bring that up. One of my favorites to watch. I like watching it sober too, but while high is the original King Kong. Which
the 30s one
is I mean for the time is a fantastic special effects movie. Like it's still not that bad, but
even the one in the 70s, it's good.
But the dialogue is just fucking terrible and like
awful dialogue.
and it's like just all the tropes of a movie that's almost 100 years old.
It's like that with the Godzilla movie too. The original Godzilla movie is almost the same way.
Well, the Godzilla movie with Perry Mason in it.
Yeah,
that one.
It just doesn't make any sense at all.
I love the snappy dialogue of like 40s movies where they just keep talking to you. Hey, buddy, we gotta go
Friday.
Yeah. I love that.
I like that too.
Hey, buddy, in shape, out of shape guy from the 40s. Yeah.
So let's plug I need to plug another podcast.
Plug another podcast.
What we're trying to do at the end of these, kind of give people options and stuff.
We're the number 3 on the network.
So you gotta give the little
number one non-sports podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Love that.
The other ones are the Baylor podcast stuff, but we're the number 1 non-sports podcast right now. So we always at the very end,
and we're
we
kind
try
of kicking
to
bloody happy hours.
We are
right
kicking their ass pretty good.
Yeah.
So
it's a good thing when you can kick a true crime podcast.
Yeah, it's not easy to do, man.
No, it's not easy to do. But I think and I'm not knocking anybody else. I think it's because our show is so consistently one way through.
Well, again, like I've said before, it's a fandom
that's
that we've already tapped into because people love this thing anyway. And so we're just loving it along with them.
It's not as divisive as a true crime podcast because we try not to inject a lot of our personal politics in it, which I think is harder to do with a true crime podcast than it is to do with what we do. So we've had a fan recently because both Mike and I are non-religious, and we make that known in the podcast a little bit sometimes.
Speak for yourself. I'm super religious.
Well, we both had bad childhood experiences with it, and we make it known how we feel about it. And there's a fan that didn't really like that, and
I need to tell you about my Lord and
kind of
Savior,
left
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. He left us with a bad review a little bit, but we still appreciate
we've
everybody.
made up. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah,
so
engagement is engagement.
And I think. Yeah, I was just gonna say a quick thing on King of the Hill specifically, and I do appreciate what you guys do.
Why do you got to go back to that?
I know, and I do. I love the show because I mean, so many shows have these same setups.
Yeah.
But to have one in Waco, that's King of the Hill, and I'd say that to say, King of the Hill is such good, like beneath the surface. Like that's what's so good. You could watch King of the Hill like I did as a kid, and it's still funny without knowing really the context or Texas or anything, but. As an adult watching it now, it's so much better.
Yeah,
it's so much between the lines.
We've also
implied.
Well, to me, it's like the old Looney Tunes things. You know, Looney Tunes cartoons were not made for children.
No,
but you can watch them as a child. But then you also get the jokes as an adult.
Right, and it's so easy to talk through. Like it's one of the The Office was the first one that did that kind of episode by episode. I love The Office.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk about
Yeah.
The Office.
Well, the crazy thing for me about
there's nothing
just
really
so much
deeper
over it.
there
Yeah.
that I really need to talk about.
And
King of the
that's-
Hill, weirdly enough, this
Yeah.
adult animated sitcom
yeah.
is what
it
I
is.
talk
It
about.
is.
Yeah.
And well, for us too, it's kind of crazy because we've hit the top 200 charts on Apple in at least. I think we're up to like 8 countries or 9
Hell
countries.
yeah, man.
And then you have
like Britney Spears.
And then
right
you
here.
have fans that send stuff like this. So this guy that sent this was from Germany. He sent this all the way from Germany. He sent us a little. It was a little Hank Hill assistant manager kind of card, like, "Hey, this is from Hank. I love listening to your podcast," kind of thing. So, and then we had a fan from Atlanta send us a bunch of Squishmallows. So I don't know. It's been really crazy.
She also sent us pocket sand. Remember
she
that?
sent us pocket sand.
That's good.
She
Yeah,
actually.
It's a good reference.
Actually, I meant to mention her. So. Jordan, she had recently, she lives in Atlanta. Atlanta is a wild place to live. She had somebody throw a big rock through her car window.
Oh, no.
And she's a very optimistic person. So what she has done is taken the rock and she's cleaned the rock up and she's gonna decorate the rock. The rock is now the official mascot of the Bois King of the Hill podcast.
Oh, I love that.
So she's gonna take pictures of it when she gets it all prettied up, and then I'm gonna put them out
please.
on all the socials and stuff like
that's
that.
wonderful.
A pet rock.
We had
Yeah.
a guy send us the entire series on DVD.
Yeah.
We've
A guy
gotten-
sent us this. Yeah, he
guy
sent me the
sent us a
laptop.
laptop. I
He's
mean,
our
it's-
fact
I
checker.
didn't notice how
named Artie.
lucrative this
Our
is.
fans
I like
are
him.
Yeah.
our fans
I'm a
are
fan.
literally some of the
Artie,
best
yeah.
people on the planet.
Artie is our fact guy.
Yeah.
He's great. His tidbits are awesome, by the
Yeah.
way. Shout out to you, Artie.
Good job, Artie.
Especially when I was listening back to the Louisiana one.
Yeah.
And he's like giving you all the Creole and the
He's got a lot of that.
idiosyncrasies of it
Yeah.
and what they might actually be saying.
Well, then
That's what I like about having
Great.
a third eye on it, because Mike, there's a lot of references Mike's going to get that I'm not going to
Sure.
get, and there might be some younger stuff that I get that Mike doesn't get,
Yeah.
and then there's stuff that Artie, he goes in like, like specifically a type of pen, and then he'll go look up the brand of pen, and he'll look up like a little bit of the facts on
God
the
bless
pen
you,
and
Artie.
stuff. Where he's been a great asset for sure.
Also, I don't want to go without mentioning Chris, who did all of the fake commercials.
Yeah, he does fake commercials and sends them to us. He's a teacher somewhere in the
There's
world,
like 50
but he
of these things he's made.
He makes tons
and
of
all
commercials,
the voices and all the stuff.
and he's got
actually
his
had a-
daughter does Luann on his videos,
We
on
actually
his
had a
clips.
Friday episode where we just
Last
played some
Friday.
of his clips. Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you go
No,
back
that
and
would
look
be the
at
Friday before
Friday's
last. Yeah.
episode,
Last Friday, you said?
yeah.
It was but in the rotation here, it would have been the Friday before last.
Oh yeah, Friday before last.
Because
yeah.
we're podcasting from the future.
Yeah, we are. We are in the future.
Wow. Peek behind the curtain.
Okay, so real quick, let me plug
Yeah.
one show. It's called Abaddon Eyes. I don't know if I've talked about this yet or not. Are you familiar with the Hell House movies? They're found footage movies?
Yes.
Okay. So there's
There's
four of them. Writer-director Stephen Cognetti. We were able to talk to him about his movies. And basically, Abaddon Eyes is going to follow the lore and the world that's being built within these horror movies, right?
Okay.
So
All
instead
right.
of just reviewing movies or
Right.
whatever. And so I think last night we were able to talk to the 6th person now. We've talked to the big bad. We've talked to several of the actors, producers, all of this stuff. So this entire series will be about those Hell House movies and the world that's being built in it. Yeah. And so probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll see that hit. It's called Abaddon Eyes, Abaddon.
Abaddon Eyes.
Yeah, and it's all about the Hell House movies.
Check that out.
Yeah, please
damn
check it out. Check it
Yeah.
out. All right. Well, thank you for being here. You want to tell them where they can find us
You
if
can
they want
find
more?
us at bwaaakoth.com, or you can go to roguemedianetwork.com/bwaaakoth. And you could send us an email. Somebody asked me this. Our email is bwaaakoth.com@gmail.com.
Wait. .com at
Did I say that?
gmail.com?
bwaaakoth.
You're just further confusing them.
At gmail.com. I was just talking too fast.
How many that try to search it end up with just like Baseball Hall of Fame voting?
Oh, I'm sure
that would
there's
be
quite a few.
BWAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
That's
right.
good that you put out there as 3 A's.
Yeah.
3 A's, everybody.
3 A's and
3 A's.
KOTH.
3 A's for savings.
Which would be like my 2 special interests for sure.
Which when me and
Baseball
Mike
Hall
were
of Fame voting and King of the Hill.
when me and Mike were coming up for a name for the podcast, I was driving home and all I could hear in my head was Hank going whoa over and over, and I was like, that would be an amazing name. So that's how that happened. So
great.
Yeah, go to bwaaakoth.com.
Yep, and we will be there, and we'll be back next week with Season 5, Episode 4. I do not know what that is.
I don't know off the top of my head.
becomes the sub and flunks the flying Hawaiian?
Gosh, I hope so.
I'm not that much of a savant. I've just been looking through the episode list a lot. I think that might be it.
Well, we'll be here either way. Season 5, episode 4.
That's a great one for continuity, by the way.
Now, this one is actually the Thanksgiving episode where Red Corn tries to establish a relationship with
Joseph,
yeah.
The white man.
That episode where Bobby's like, damn the white man.
Guilt.
Yeah, the white guilt.
All right, so we will see you next week. Thanks for being here, and Wimatanye.
Wimatanye, indeed.
There you go. It was backwards. Good job. See ya. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.